Brent and I were talking about this. I came into our board of advisors a couple of years ago, and I laid out a new mission statement. I've already talked about that a little bit, that I have my own, but I have it for the group. And when I presented it, it wasn't just fluffy language. It was really talking about, we're trying to build and create energy leaders that can thrive in any sector and that can be successful to make a difference in the industry. And I turned to the board and I said, for me to do this, it's going to be 40% of my time expanding this employment pool because they don't know who we are. And you need to understand that and be for it. And then I think I was doing that. And then I think when Biden got elected, it was crystal clear that this was a really important strategy. And it's, I went back to him, and fortunately we were starting this. I wish I could have started before, COVID did it, but it made it very clear what the answer is. And that is, this president wants to destroy oil and gas and do anything he can to lessen it. I'm not trying to be political. It's just a fact. He did it on the first day, put a hold on leasing.
Pretty clear on that.
And I said, and he's going to spend $1 trillion on renewable, on electricity. So are we going to become irrelevant, or are we going to have our graduates move into renewables and electricity? And they were like, okay, I like it. And that's caused a lot of travel. And, but it's been relatively successful, and it's a building process.
It
and
is.
So the biggest issue I've got now is I've got more jobs than kids because I didn't try to grow this major. I was letting it kind of lessen itself with graduations. And in the last 8-9 months, I've said, okay, now we've got the jobs. So I'm in that influx where I'm trying to add people. And part of the reason I'm going out talking to a lot of people is to educate them on this major. Because, I'm obviously in love. I'm the most biased human being on this major, but I do love it. And I do love kind of what we're creating and the opportunities for these youngsters. It's amazing. Yeah. One of the things that this major brings to it is not only does it the highest paying major out of the business school, and that's been documented since I've been here, but I would be willing to bet it's almost every year for 60 years. Also the highest wage for summer internships. And we gave out $224,000 in scholarships for our students. And so they're getting most of their debt paid off. And so there are some advantages to having a smaller major.
So that helps.
I'm sure you just asked me my name and I just told you my life story.
Well, no, I mean, we've talked about that a few times about, it's not only preparing these people to work in land, but energy, but it's really more about what do you take from college? It's being fluid. You're gaining a skill set going through school, but then you're out in the world and you have to adapt. You have to be fluid. You have to, take what you've learned and take your skill set and apply it in a place that wherever the opportunity presents itself. You're going to have ups and downs. I was part of a panel for one of the annual meetings in 2020, and the panel discussion was transferable land skills because half of the APL membership were jobless at the time. And we went through all those things. We talked about finance. We talked about the right of way and electric utility industry. We talked about solar and wind because I had some exposure to that was just really starting to pick up during COVID, and the renewables and all the things that were coming down the line. And we had a whole discussion about it. And we've seen a number of people in the land profession go into those places, go into corporate development, go into, the finance world. Get into the renewables business. So we were talking yesterday, a big part of our business now is in electric utility. It's in the renewables. It's alternative energy. It's geothermal. It's wind, solar, battery charging, EV charging stations, all those things. And in each one of those sectors, we're working with a landman, whether they know it or not. They don't call themselves landmen. They call themselves developers. It's the same job. And more and more I've got oil and gas clients that I worked for years that are now in the renewable space as project developers for solar companies, for wind companies, and they absolutely thrive. They do a great job. They get in. I mean, they're contributing day one, and I would not be surprised at all for you to see more and more of your graduates
Yeah.
getting those development jobs with those companies, because there's such a tremendous amount of money going into it.
You bet.
That, Dudley told me years and years ago, he said, Brent, whatever you do, and this is when I first, was working my way up through the company, he said, follow the money. And it's a very simple thing. Money provides opportunity. And if you capitalize on it, you'll always have a job and you'll keep landing working. And that's where it's at. And not to say that oil and gas isn't there. We're very busy in oil and gas. It's healthy. Things are active and it's great. But it's just, what other opportunities are out there for people to continue working? To your point, the picture in the background tells a lot of stories. You're going to have your ups and downs as a land professional. Am I going to hit the ground running? And do I have an awareness of what else is out there? Which skills might are transferable? And, which way do I point this horse whenever I need to go? And they've just done great. And it's a great program. It's a great profession. And you can very much go back and forth, and we're able to keep a lot of really good landmen working because we have those opportunities for them. And you're able to place students because the work that you guys are doing to expose them and expose the employers to your program. And it's great to hear that y'all are doing that and that the other programs are as well.